G'day folks, how you going? Coach Neil Kelliher back again, and this is part 5 in the coronavirus killer series. All right, so this one is how to reduce systemic inflammation, all right, so that your body's defenses, as in your immune system, is better able to defend against viruses and other threats. Okay, so systemic inflammation, if you don't know, is present in probably 80 to 90% of the population if you live in a developed country, all right, due to stress, lifestyle, diet. G'day folks, I'm not going to say hello to everyone today except you two, Tracy, Amber, good to see you. I need to get through this, all right? So systemic inflammation, we've all got it, all right? Systemic inflammation is a symptom of society in which we live in today, okay? So unfortunately, I can guarantee, if you live in a developed world, if you've got a job and a family and, you're susceptible to society's environmental pollutions and toxins and God knows what else, you will have some level of systemic inflammation, okay? Systemic inflammation diverts your immune system from having its, it puts a burden on your immune system all day, every day, okay? Which means when you get attacked by any invaders from outside, such as a bacteria, a virus, a parasite, fungus, whatever, you have less immune system strength to combat that threat, okay? Because your immune system is already working all day, every day, trying to deal with the inflammation in your body, okay? So in particular for this coronavirus, the inflammation is what makes it to the lung. Well, the virus infects your lungs. What happens then is the inflammation is a result of that infection, okay? And then the alveoli, which transfer oxygen from your lungs to your blood, become, inflamed and swollen, and then they can't transfer that oxygen to your blood. But then, and at the same time that that happens, the lungs build up with fluid, okay? So, phlegm, protein particles, et cetera, and then that's when it becomes more and more severe, okay? Now, I'm not saying, that's going to happen to you. Clearly, we know now that it's only 20% of people who are at severe risk, okay? But at the end of the day, like I keep saying, it's not about who's at risk and who's not at risk. It's about everybody keeping themselves strong and their defense is high, their immune system at peak, so that if they get infected, they don't get severe disease. And also, if you or they get infected, they can recover faster and not be infectious to other people in a shorter period of time. You know what I mean? So apparently at the moment they're saying if you recover, well, not if, but when you recover, if you're asymptomatic or you're low symptomatic and you recover, you cease to be infectious about 10 days after the onset of symptoms, okay? So let's say you get sick, but it's only mild, you're infectious for 10 days through that period is what they're currently saying, okay? So what I'm saying is that by reducing systemic inflammation, increasing your immune system's ability to defend yourself, you will recover faster, okay? And by default, you'll be less infectious, non-infectious quicker, all right? So at the end of the day, the stronger we are, the better able we are to help anyone that is sick. Also, the better able we are to continue to function and provide for our families and our loved ones and bring home a paycheck, etc., etc. I mean, the flow-on effect is huge, okay? At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is you've got to take care of you, okay? And obviously don't be selfish and think about others, okay? So take care of you, think about others, and keep yourself strong so you can help where needed. And at the end of the day, let's all just band together and hope and fingers crossed. And I'm not a believer in God or anything like that, but if you do, then pray that the catastrophic effect of this virus worldwide is not as bad as it could possibly be, all right? Because the predictions are quite bad, all right? So I'm not gonna scare you anymore with that stuff now. You're hearing it all day, every day. You're seeing it on your Facebook, all right? By now you realise this is a real threat. Even if you're not concerned for your own safety, you need to be concerned for the safety of society, and you need to take care of yourself so that your defences are strong and you can better prevent other people from getting sick, all right? So systemic inflammation, we've all got it, all right? If you live in this world today, you've got inflammation, all right? And the best way to reduce inflammation is diet and lifestyle, okay? So at the end of the day, if you bring your systemic inflammation down, then your immune system strength will go up because you're not fighting that daily inflammation, and you'll be better able to protect yourself from any other incoming threat, all right? So inflammation is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the first sign of illness and disease, all right? And we suffer it because of our lifestyles. We suffer it because of stress, because of lack of sleep, because of pollution in the environment, environmental toxins, POPs, persistent organic pollutants in our foods, etc. What we breathe in from the air, okay? EMF, Wi-Fi, all of these things contribute to inflammation within the body. Now, to put it in the simplest terms, if you've got any form of itis, okay, itis literally means inflammation. So if you've got any itis, that's an inflammatory illness or disease that you have. Okay, just because they've got different names, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, bursitis, pancreatitis, whatever. These are all inflammatory illnesses. All right. So at the end of the day, reducing inflammation is like it's a fundamental key to great health. Okay. So on that note, how do you do that? It's actually quite bloody simple. And even, if you've watched my previous videos in the last 3 and 4, pretty much all the same things in 3 and 4 are anti-inflammatory as well as antibacterial, antiviral, boosting the immune system, etc., etc. So that's the good news, okay? It's not like you've got to do one thing for this and one thing for that and one thing for the other. Like, they all work synergistically, which is the beauty of it, all right? This is the great thing about natural health, okay? I mean, don't get me wrong. When you need medicine, you need medicine. Go to the bloody hospital. If you're in severe risk, if you've got severe symptoms and you can't breathe and you've got shortness of breath, obviously you're going to go to the hospital, get medical attention. But this stuff is to prevent that from ever happening, okay? At the end of the day, your immune system is your best defense against any threat that comes in from outside, okay? Bacteria, virus, parasite, fungus, whatever, all right? So on that note, the best anti-inflammatories are, number 1, fish oil, all right? So fish oil is a fat, obviously. The anti-inflammatory effects from fish oil come from the EPA and DHA, okay? So they're the 2 acids, the fatty acids in there, omega-3, all right? And you want a sufficient quantity of those, all right? So what I mean by that is like if you buy a typical fish oil supplement, it's 1,000 milligrams, you're only getting 180 EPA, 120 DHA, all right, which is quite low. Excuse me, I haven't got a virus, all right? Now, so I've done a video on this before, and the best dose for EPA and DHA is around about 1,000 EPA and around 800 DHA. All right, so that's quite significant. All right, so 1 or 2 fish oils are not going to cut it. All right, so because we're talking about reducing systemic inflammation, we're not talking about maintaining a healthy body that's already got low inflammation. When you get to that stage, you would take less of a dose of something like a fish oil. All right, so for this purpose, and I can tell you what to take in regards to a dose of a fish oil, because it's not medical advice. This is fish oil is a fat, okay? It's a macro. It's not a micronutrient. It's a macronutrient, okay? So it's food, okay? All right. So it's not it's not a drug. It's not a supplement. All right. So my recommendation is around about 6 times 1,000 milligram fish oil capsules per day. All right. That's quite a lot because they're quite big, those 1,000s. All right. So what you can do is take a triple concentrate, and you can just pretty much divide that by 3. I said take 2 a day. All right. So 6 fish oil a day. All right. And make sure you get a good quality fish oil that's tested for PCBs, mercury, dioxins, all right? So it's clean, okay? You don't have to spend a fortune on the pharmaceutical quality ones, but do get one that's clean and tested for heavy metals and dioxins, all right? So number 1, fish oil. Number 2, back to one of my favorites, turmeric, okay? Turmeric is like literally, and it's the curcumin that's the anti-inflammatory, but turmeric is the product, is the spice, all right? So turmeric is like, it's fantastic stuff. I've already banged on about it many times. I use it every day. And to bring down systemic inflammation, it's a fantastic ingredient to use each and every day, all right? Turmeric dose. I've done a video on this before, and it depends on where you're at. Okay, so if you're using it as a supplement, then the label will tell you what to take because it's standardized to generally 95% curcuminoids, so you don't need as much. But I use the powder. All right, so for the powder, I'll use 1 or 2 teaspoons at a time because I want the curcumin effect in like 5 grams of powder is not that strong. Like you're only getting around 300 to 600 milligrams of active curcumin. All right, so I'll take 1 or 2 teaspoons, in a shake with some black pepper. Okay, because black pepper, piperine helps you absorb it. And then also you want to have that with some fat. So I'll put a little bit of olive oil in there or coconut oil, all right? So because curcumin is fat soluble, all right, and piperine helps you absorb it. Okay, so if you have both of them in there, the pepper and the oil, you're going to get the best benefit from that curcumin, all right, so from the turmeric, all right? So fish oil, turmeric. Next one, ginger. Okay, so I've talked about ginger before as well. Again, anti-inflammatory. Okay, so include it. Okay, you can include it in your cooking. You can include it. You can grate it and put it into a smoothie. You can just chop it and blend it. But turmeric, ginger, about 1 inch. So top of your thumb or a little bit more is what I find is good. I like it quite strong. I like to taste it. I like to literally really feel that ginger taste, whereas some people can't tolerate that as much. So have as much as you can tolerate, but you really want about 1 inch. Okay, so that's ginger. And yeah, I do recommend these things daily, particularly if we're in the process of bringing our body back into health, so it's optimal. Once we reach what we feel and think is optimal, we can lower the frequency and usage of these products. Okay, so you don't always have to take this much. All right, but what we're talking about here is reducing systemic inflammation, boosting your immune function. Okay, so I would take these things every day at this stage until, and when I say feel and create optimal health, you will feel different. I guarantee you will just feel better. Things will move better. You'll feel better. You won't have as many aches and pains. And that is a sign of the inflammation in your body being reduced. Okay? So ginger. All right. Next one, and this is one of my favorite topics, which I always bang on about, is earthing. Okay? So earthing is that process, what I've talked about before, whereby you literally have your bare feet connected to the bare earth. Okay, so the earth is not concrete. The earth is not, pavement or steps or outside. Like, it is grass, it is dirt, it is sand, it is, woods, forest, bush. That is when you are connected to the earth. And when you're connected to the earth, there is a transfer of electrons between your body and the earth. And at the same time as it does that, it rebalances the body's electromagnetic field whilst earthing yourself. I mean, it makes, you know what earthing is. It's taking electricity out that shouldn't be there, all right? So when you earth yourself, you remove dirty electricity from the human body and you rebalance your body's electromagnetic field. That has been shown to dramatically reduce systemic inflammation. What I'm going to do after this, I'm going to post a couple of thermography scans, which will show that effect. Okay, so thermography is whereby you stand in front of an infrared camera, and it picks up all heat signatures in the body. So basically, the darker colours you see within the body are signs of inflammation. All right. So I'm going to put a couple of pictures in a post after this, which will demonstrate that effect of what chronic inflammation looks like, and then seeing the process as it begins to heal itself. Okay, so when that inflammation is reduced from the body. All right. So where was I? Yeah. So what have I got? I've got fish oil, turmeric, ginger, earthing. You know what? I'm going to leave that there. All right, because they are my go-tos, and if you do those 1, 2, 3, 4 things each and every day, or if you can't do them every day, like do the earthing every second or third day, that will have a profound effect in reducing your systemic inflammation. Okay, so you don't need to add a dozen other products. Okay, those 4 things alone will literally be so beneficial that those 4 alone are enough. Okay, so on that note, systemic inflammation. You've got to get rid of it, all right? Apart from that, I mean, your lifestyle stuff is always going to play a role. So, I mean, you've got to get good sleep, because when you sleep, you recover, you rebuild, you rejuvenate. Your body reduces internal inflammation if you get good sleep. Plenty of water, obviously, which we've talked about before, okay? And, I mean, at the end of the day, these specific tips always go hand in hand with good diet, and in general. All right, so you've got to be eating clean, relatively. I mean, I'm not saying avoid everything that's potentially bad, because you don't have to do that. But the rule I follow is 80-20. 80% of the time, do the right thing, do the healthiest things you can by your body. 20% of the time, relax, and don't be so, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be so strict, because being that strict can actually have a negative effect on your entire psyche. Like you just come to resent the fact that you can't have this and you can't have that and you can't do this and you can't do that, and you'll be turning down dinner invites and saying no to cake at a party. You don't have to do that. You just got to factor that stuff in and do the good and the best stuff 80% of the time, and then 20% of the time relax and have a little fun, have a bit of chocolate, have a beer, have a wine, have some cake, have some chips, have some pizza, have a burger, whatever. But those foods are pro-inflammatory, and at the end of the day, anything that's pro-inflammatory is going to increase systemic inflammation if that forms a large part of your diet and lifestyle. All right, so the 80-20 rule, like I said, 80% of the time do the right thing and the best thing by yourself and your body. 20% of the time relax, allow yourself a little bit of fun, but be aware of those things, okay? Because every time you put something pro-inflammatory into your body, it creates stress within your body, okay? It increases your systemic inflammation, increases your immune system response to try and fight it and reduce that inflammation, okay? So last thing you want is to add fuel to the fire. All right, if you're trying to protect yourself from a deadly virus, which I shouldn't, I'm not smiling about that. I mean, it's not funny, right? But clearly, if there's a threat present, then you want to be doing as many of the right and best and most proactive health things as you can to alleviate or reduce that threat, okay? So that's my advice to you, okay? So at the end of the day, folks, be safe, stay healthy, protect yourself, protect your families, prevent infection, all the hygiene stuff. And I mean, a lot of stuff's coming into play now with events being cancelled and social distancing being increased, and unfortunately that's the only way you can stop the spread of an airborne virus. All right, so you have to contact and proximity to viruses is what transmits it. All right, so if you don't touch it and you're not in proximity to where it is in an airborne environment, such as closed spaces, enclosed ventilated spaces, buses, trains, planes, stuff like that, theatres, concert halls, pubs. Unfortunately, as extreme as it sounds, this is the only way to contain such an infectious virus, and that's what it is. It's super infectious. All right, so all these muppets out there saying, "Oh, it's just a flu," you're totally fucking retarded. All right. And all these people out there quoting statistics saying, "Oh, the flu's killed this many and heart disease killed that and cancer's killed that many." All right, fucking these things have been around for 100 years. This thing's been around 12 weeks. Okay, so use your fucking brain and stop talking shit and listen to people that know what they're talking about and are trying to help you and the world, and try not to be an idiot and do the right thing, because you being an idiot and denying this and claiming it's fake news or it's New World Order or fucking whatever, you're contributing to the problem, all right? So at the end of the day, folks, take care of you, take care of your loved ones, particularly anyone that we know is at risk, okay? Keep them safe. Make sure they've got food and toilet paper, all right? On that note, folks, if you like this stuff, if you've been following along, you want to keep up to date, please jump into my group. I'll put the link down below, okay? And if you've personally got any additional concerns now that this thing's been called a pandemic, which I predicted on the 25th of February, who am I? I don't know anything. All right. So if you've got any personal concerns and worries, slide into my inbox if you want some advice. Okay, and I'm happy to help. On that note, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be how to put all this stuff together to sort of treat yourself and recover faster. All right. So that's coming in part 6. Cheers then. See ya.